Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to another remote program where we may be remote, but we're still doing quality stuff. And in that spirit, let me introduce for the first time with us Carin Hep, who is Sales Director of Small Group and Individual Programs at Delta Dental of New Jersey, an underwriter of our program at the Caucus Educational Corporation. Carin, let me ask you this. Small business, most significant challenges they are facing in the middle of May as we do this program. It'll be seen after. Biggest challenges are?
Yeah, thanks. Great question, Steve, and it's great to be here. Even in the best of times, small businesses have their own unique set of challenges. With lack of resources compared to larger firms, I think right now what small businesses are challenged with is, they're already working on thin margins, and
That's right.
small businesses, they don't have, some of them had reserves, but most of them didn't have any reserves. So now faced with this crisis, there's not a lot to go on. So they are looking for capital, essentially. I think that's the big thing. Small employer loans, small business association loans, the Paycheck Protection Program, the CARES Act, all of these types of things are resources for them, but these are some of their challenges.
But Karen, we're a small not-for-profit business, right? We have a bottom line, but we're a not-profit. But what always strikes me is people are like saying, well, why shouldn't you be prepared, or why weren't you prepared? How does one prepare? How does a small business prepare for a global pandemic?
That's a great question as well. I'm not sure that anyone was prepared for this. I know that larger firms, they have the resources to have a disaster recovery plan in place, but most small businesses did not. And I think this creates an opportunity for them to, moving forward, either create a plan for themselves so that if this does happen again, they're ready, or outsource that to have someone come in and set them up so that they can pivot quickly, like so many firms have had to do, so many small businesses have had to do during this time with remote workforces and delivering their products and services to people without being on site and doing it remotely.
How are you and your colleagues attempting to directly help small businesses?
Yeah, another great question. We are doing a lot, to help businesses struggling with the financial impacts of this crisis. We started in March with extending our grace periods to 90 days. Essentially what that means is that no benefits contract will terminate for non-payment before June 30th. We've also implemented something that we're calling hibernation. So for those employers that absolutely have to terminate their policy, we're allowing them to come back at any point during this year. And essentially we will turn that policy back on at a future date. And this alleviates the administrative burden of having to come back with us and do all the paperwork and start a policy again. We also have held rates for 2020, which means any employer with less than 500 employees who has a renewal for the rest of the year will not see a rate increase. And something that we're getting ready to roll out is our customer rebate. And that's a 30% rebate over a 3-month period to our customers.
In a limited time we have left, let me ask you this. As the economy reopens, different places, different parts of the state, different parts of the nation, as we're doing this program, what are some of the keys that some of these small businesses are going to face in terms of making their small business not just successful economically, but most importantly, safe from a public health point of view? There's investment there, right? You got to do all kinds of things, particularly restaurants.
Absolutely. I'll just bring up our dental providers, right? Dental practices, the majority of them are small businesses. So they have been hit, some of them have been hit the hardest during this crisis. When they reopen, things are going to be different, right? You're going to go back to the dentist and you're probably going to be sitting in the parking lot and not the waiting room. The dentists are going to have a lot of PPE, face shields, hair coverings, gowns, chair covers, things like that. So
one patient at a time.
One patient at a time. Exactly. So there's a lot of opportunity. There's going to be a lot of change. But I think that the small business community is optimistic, and people are anxious to get back to some sense of normalcy.
Speaking of normalcy, as we wrap up, I want to thank Carin Hep and the team at Delta Dental New Jersey. One of the things I look forward to every year is hosting the annual Delta Dental golf outing that raises money for Special Olympics. And things have been put off, but life goes on, and that will be rescheduled. And I look forward to being with you and your colleagues and a terrific team at Special Olympics of New Jersey and the work they do. So thank you for joining us, Carin. We appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Steve. I'd like to just thank the healthcare workers, the first responders, and all of our essential workers for giving of themselves every day. We're deeply grateful. So thank you.
We can't say that enough. Thank you, Carin. Well said. We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by New Jersey Sharing Network, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, the Turl Fund, supporting Right from the Start NJ, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, NJM Insurance Group, Choose New Jersey, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey, and by Wells Fargo. Promotional support provided by AM 970 The Answer and by Meadowlands Chamber. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.